Hello and welcome to Reel, a podcast made by students at Hennepin Technical College. I'm your host, Jack Cluppy.
And I'm his co-host, Zeke. Today, we are reviewing Shelby Oaks, a new horror movie made by Chris Stuckman as his directorial debut.
Before we do that, let's take a look at this trailer and see what we have in store for us today.
I'm so scared. Do you need help?
She finally let me go.
Welcome back to the Paranormal Paranoids. Today we're taking our first foray into the abandoned town of Shelby Oaks.
I've been searching for Riley for the last 12 years. I know my sister's not dead.
Bodies were found outside of Shelby Oaks. Riley Brennan is still missing.
The last night I saw her, she said she saw a man standing in her window, staring at her. Yeah. You live alone out here? Nope. Where is my sister? Riley.
When a paranormal investigator team led by Riley goes missing in the abandoned town of Shelby Oaks, her sister Mia must do whatever it takes to save her.
Mia faces an ancient entity and a distrusting boyfriend in this action-packed horror thriller. So let's take a look at the behind the scenes.
Yeah, we're less than 2 days out at this point. So, right now it's just kind of trying to mitigate those last things that are popping up.
It's credit to Chris for how he's written this so we can shoot fast and get a lot of pages done in certain scenarios. But then we also have a number of big, beautiful set pieces that we really want to kind of show.
The night before, I'll be looking over the schedule and the script pages that we're going to be shooting to make sure there's nothing I forgot about, any small nuances that I want to make sure I communicate to the actors or to Baird, our cinematographer, Andrew Scott Baird. It's really just checking all those things and kind of praying that there's no last minute random problem that comes up. There's going to be compromises, there's going to be things that we miss, but I think we're in a good enough place to get close to how I see it. Fingers crossed that actually happens.
Naturally.
We'll stay on the awning a little bit because of the rain.
All right, guys, we're gonna come out to the awning and get.
We decided to work with Chris because his original pitch for Shelby Oaks, it was just a very scary, well-written story. At the end of the day, that's all we're ever looking for, right? It's great stories, and he nailed it.
As mentioned at the start of this episode, this is Chris Stuckman's first directorial credit, but he was well known before this movie even came out.
Chris Stuckman has a YouTube channel where he does movie reviews just like us.
Hey, Zeke, do you think we'll ever be as big as him?
No, we won't.
But why?
We don't have enough money. We're broke, man. We're poor.
We are college students. Yeah.
We are.
Yeah. Funny enough, like the previous film you and me actually reviewed, this was also funded by a fundraiser, hitting its first goal within 24 hours.
And 8 months after Neon acquired the film, they did 3 days worth of reshoots just so the director could shoot the bloody scenes that he wanted.
Up next is our reviews, but we'll talk about that after this ad.
We really try and keep track of what's going on in the world as far as what are the trends. And so when a student comes here, they're learning the marketing aspects of video production with turnkey. So they learn how to write, storyboard, and capture video, set lights, set audio, and then they learn how to edit everything from start to finish.
We believe that we are providing a transformative educational experience. It's hands-on, it's project-based, it's portfolio-based, it's based on real-world industry experiences.
They take deep dives on all of these. You know, a lot of the classes are tiered, so you get an entry-level course and then an advanced, and then, you know, you hit your capstone projects where you're bringing them all together. So it's nice the way that they structure it and help you get a deeper understanding of stuff that you may or may not have thought you already had a good handle on.
There is something so bad about this movie. It is, without a doubt, one of the worst movies I think I've ever seen. And it raises your expectations so far up in the trailer just to dash it once you see the movie, and it keeps spitting in your face over and over and over again. And it punches you and it kicks you while you're down screaming and crying like a little baby. But no, it's a big scary monster. Yeah, this is what you get. You like Hereditary? Ooh, here you go. You like Blair Witch? Here you go. You like that? Here you go. You like The Conjuring? Here you go. It sucks. Everything about this movie, except the very sort of beginning, sucks. It's so atrocious. And if you've seen the movie, you'll understand this. It cannot decide what it wants to be. It goes from found footage to Hereditary to Conjuring to Hereditary to Conjuring to Hereditary, and it jumps back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I don't understand. The writing is, to some extent, okay, and it starts out in a documentary type thing, but I don't know. It's lame. It just is lame. What are your thoughts on it? 'Cause I hate this movie.
As an editor who came here to this college to work on his editing and trying to learn more stuff, having to bring in another editor from a different company just to fix your edit is very skeptical in my opinion. I don't know why they had to get in a new editor. Did their previous editor just suck that bad, or was it some other problem? There was definitely some problems with the pacing in this movie a little bit too, because we just jumped around the Ohio place of Shelby Oaks towards the end. It was kind of not that well done, but I don't know.
Like Syndrome from The Incredibles says, never meet your heroes, but in this case, never meet your movies that you want, I guess.
Never meet your Shelby Oaks, you could say.
Yeah.
Shelby Oaks was a terrifying movie, one of the best I've seen in a while. There was scenes that were completely void of noise that had me tense in my chair, white-knuckling the armrest the whole time. But they lasted for too long, in my opinion, dragging it out just to build suspense for absolutely nothing. My favorite part was actually the monster that we don't get to see that much of. Now, not to spoil what it is, but I love their design, which you finally get to see in its full glory at the end. That'll take skin through the whole rest of the movie. How they set up the monster, in my opinion, was the worst of the movie. Lackluster completely. Only reading a bit from a book with quick flashes of demonic things we'll see later, with no extra knowledge seeking that we get to do. What I wish they would do was go into the folklore in experiencing what they were, where they draw their inspiration from, and push that along. I love folklore, and they didn't do that much with it. The shots were fine, nothing special, which the director I wish the director took a few more chances, because that is what filmmaking is about. Without breaking the arbitrary rules we have, what good are we doing with it? For being good but nothing amazing, Shelby Oaks gets a 3 out of 5 reels for me.
Like I said before, that I just wish Shelby Oaks kept the documentary style it was running with in the beginning. It used it to perfection, and it was a great way to keep the tension, but allowed the natural use of exposition storytelling to flow. It started with a 4:3 format, but then it randomly changed to a 16:9 format, and it just ruined the rest of the movie. The writing was good in the beginning, and then it just fell off. In my opinion, the scares were lame, and as an avid horror fan, I could expect when they would happen. It was that predictable to some extent. The story going from a folklore paranormal movie to a Conjuring Hereditary feel, in my opinion, was the weirdest and lamest twist. Now, I understand that they were going for that, but it doesn't make a bit of sense in a found footage type movie. The movie needed to dive deeper into the lore, and the main character does like 2 minutes worth of detective work to find out exactly who this main antagonist is. And it's strangely more work than what the actual detectives do, and it's the most convenient thing in the movie, and it just sucks. She just automatically knows that it is, and then she doesn't give evidence to the police when clearly she's 100% right on this thing, and she just doesn't give it to them because she's under the impression that, oh, they're not going to believe her. But and the monster is just there to be a literal pervert. There's no setup for it at all, other than that he just wants the main character's sister. It just happens to be one of the biggest coincidental pieces, and it just felt extremely jarring. The twist, it doesn't feel like a twist. It just feels like it shifted to a different movie. And quite frankly, there were stuff in this movie that we probably can't even talk on YouTube because of how dark and horrible it is. There were times where it was strangely comical because it just didn't fill me with suspense. When a movie needs to do reshoots, that is not a good sign in general. And when a studio has to bring in an editor to do a better edit, that's not a great sign. I give this a 1 out of 5, and quite frankly, I'd give it less if we could. So, make sure you hit a like on our Facebook and YouTube. Hit that notification bell when we go live again. I'm Zeke. That's Jack.
Don't forget to watch our review on K-Pop Demon Hunters at noon, hosted by our classmates Spency Wency and Grazy Wazy. See you next time.
I'm going to go cry now.